Alright, so let me get into finishing this one up. Easiest way, guys, is you're going to want to open up all three parts of the gravity center punch. I already did a video where I drew each of them individually. There's the actual punch, that's part 1. Part 2 is the slide hammer. Part 3 is the end cap. Alright, so I have all three pieces open. I'm going to make an assembly drawing. Just to make sure I didn't already make one. I didn't, so I'm good. File, save as. Gcp Alright, now to get all them over, so you don't have to draw from scratch. It's literally just cut and paste. I'm going to click, drag a box around just the front view. I'm not going to worry about the circles. Control C for copy. Go this one. Control V for paste. That's V as in Valentine's Day. Select C, Control V, Control C, Control V. Alright, let me clean these up a little bit. I'm not going to need those headlines anymore. This one will no longer be a section view. I can get rid of all the internal stuff. Put lines for these corners. That one's good. Alright, I need my diamond knurl pattern here on the end cap. So I do my hatching. 37. Alright. Now, how far this goes over top of the end here. You could go by the threads. Easiest way is it literally tells you from point to very end. The length of this is 5 3/4. So if I draw center line here, 5.75. This end is where the back edge of the end cap is going to be. Get rid of that center line. I'm going to select the end cap. Do move. I grab this midpoint. I'm going to place it right there. Right. Here where the threads are now inside of the end cap, so I can delete that stuff, and then I'm going to have to trim acting slow here. Come on. Trim there. Here. Back. Alright. So that part's good. Now, the slide hammer. Rid of that center line. It's made to slide back and forth here. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to select it, move, I'm going to grab it by the midpoint here. I can really kind of place it anywhere along here. I'm just going to pick a spot and place it. I'm going to use trim. Now I have to trim where this rod goes to the side. So there and there. Alright, so I have everything assembled. If I do an overall dimension, point to end, 5.75. Alright, I'm not going to worry about the circles. This is all I'm really worried about on this one. So I have this part done. I'm going to label the parts 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to use leader. Place 1, 2, 3. Alright, now I go to layout. Place that there for now. I'll have to update that. The parts list, I'm going to pick a table to do that. Click on that button. Alright. The main things that you'll have to change, you'll have to make sure that you have the columns and data rows right. Don't worry about the width and the height. We're going to end up changing that anyway. So the columns, I'm going to need 5, so that's fine. Data rows, basically this is how many parts there are. There's 3 parts, so I have 3 data rows. Click OK. Now if you look here, here's the example. This is going to be flipped from what's on the paper. On the paper it has title down the bottom, or not title, but the parts list, which is the title at the bottom, work its way up. It's a little bit easier doing the top down. Alright, now it's wider than the paper and it's attached to my cursor. I'm just going to click somewhere to place it. Hit escape twice. So now that's not selected. First thing I want to do is I want to line it up with my title block. So if I do move, I'm going to click on the table, hit enter. I'm going to grab it by this bottom left corner. And I can take it to the top left of my title block. Now, extends out past the edge. I don't want that. Click on one of the grid lines of the table. Click on this arrow and bring it over to the border. That will adjust all these evenly. Now, they're not going to be even. You're going to need more space in some than others. But I'll explain that when we get to the individual parts. So here at the title, this is parts list. Alright, here is part number, TWG number. Alright, if I type in description, it's probably going to kick and jump it to a second layer, which I don't want. So I'm going to adjust these. Grabbing these handles, you can adjust individual columns. Click on the arrow, adjust all of them. This one is description, material, QTY. That's the quantity. This one's super easy. 1, 1, 1. Quantity of everything is 1. Alright, part numbers 1, 2, 3. These numbers are going to correspond to these numbers here. Part 1 is GCP 1. GCP 2, GCP 3. Description. Alright, this is the punch. Got my P. Punch. Hammer. And cap. Alright, material. The end cap and the hammer are brass. This is CRS. CRS stands for cold rolled steel. Click over, and I have it all set up. It's all good. I may be able to zoom in a little bit more. Get a window. There. Alright, make sure you put the parts list on your layout and not in model space. So again, look here, there's nothing. Here it's where it should be. So you may be able to get away with it once or twice, but it's going to make life a lot easier if you do it this way. Let me finish by updating these. Gcp Assembly 222. Drawing number, I don't know off the top of my head, I'm going to say 25. Alright, so that's all I'm looking for. Like I said, you don't need the circles. I'm not really worried about those. Get all that together. Then you can print. You're going to print all 4 pages. You're going to print, looky, print this one. And you'll print this one. Print this one. And then hopefully you don't have headphones so you can figure out from my computer charades here what you're supposed to do. Print this one. And then you'll staple them all together and make a packet. And then that's what you'll turn in. And then you're done with your first assembly. Assemblies aren't typically very hard. A lot of stuff gets kind of repetitive, same parts, which makes it easier for you. But we won't do a ton of these, probably about 3, maybe 4, and then we'll move on to the next type of drawing.